What is up, our Will Feel number one fans and viewers? This is Scott Casey Gale, Will Feel number one, and today I'm going to give you my recap and review of The Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 11, entitled Hostiles and Calamities. And it was a great episode. It was way better than episode 9 or 10. I really enjoyed it, and it was good to hear the Easy Street song make a return. Okay, let's begin with the recap, shall we? The episode picks up immediately after Dale's escape from the Savers compound. Dwight and a few of the other Savers gather at the scene of the crime and find the guard lying dead on the pavement with the tomato sandwich he had been eating before Dale took him out. Lying only a few feet away from him, Dwight looks from the dead body over to the motorcycle parked nearby and notices one of them is missing. He knows Dale has made his escape. As Negan and a few other Savers arrive back from Alexandria with Eugene held captive, Dwight runs to Dale's cell just to confirm his suspicions and finds it empty. Laura, one of the female Savers, leads a weeping Eugene to what is going to be his room at the compound. Once Laura opens the door and Eugene finds the room heavily furnished with books and video games, he begins to calm down and feels a little at home. In a funny back and forth, Laura asks him if he wants anything to eat. Eugene asks if he can have anything, and Laura impatiently says he can't. When Eugene asks for lobster, she says she can't have lobster, they don't have it. After Eugene tells her he'll settle for canned tuna, she leaves the room and he locks the door. As Eugene is wandering around, checking out his new room, the infuriating Easy Street song makes a comeback. Dwight is sitting in the room Dale temporarily took refuge in after he escaped from the cell. The same room where he ate from a jar of peanut butter. Dwight is looking at the Gono, now left by his wife Cheryl, to Dale. All of a sudden, he hears a rap at the door, and when he answers, very few strong Savers begin beating Dwight senselessly as Negan watches from the doorway where Lucille slung over his shoulder. After the beating, Dwight finds himself locked up in a cell. Negan talks to him through the door and tells him that after he arrived back, he noticed he was a short a wife, Sherry, and that Dale had escaped. Doubting his loyalty, Negan asks Dwight exactly who he hears, and Dwight recites the famous "I'm Negan" line to prove his devotion. Negan lets him out of time out and has the on-site doctor patch him up. Inside the exam room, where Dr. Carson is cleaning up Dwight after his beatdown, he tells Dwight about the first time he ever met Sherry. He tells him about how he knew she had a soft spot for Dale, and that's why she helped him escape. After getting patched up, Dwight thanks him and leaves. He then prepares to leave the compound to hopefully track down Sherry. Meanwhile, as Dwight is getting ready to leave for a little while, Laura is seen showing Eugene around the compound. She shows him how the point system works, and tells him if he wants something, then he should take it. She then leads him outside to where Negan is talking with some Savers. It is and he and Eugene have their first ever real face-to-face talk. After Negan asks him what he used to do before the apocalypse, and Eugene mumbles that he used to be a scientist. Negan picks Eugene's brain above the issue he's having with his living dead guards, stationed at the gate. Apparently their bodies are growing old and falling apart with age. Eugene blubbers that if they had scrap metal, they could melt it and pour it over their bodies. In doing so, the substance will eventually harden and keep them intact. Negan is absolutely impressed with Eugene's response. He is rewarded with a visit from Negan's remaining wives that night. Later that night, we see Eugene lost in an old Archie video game, while two of Negan's beautiful wives, Frankie and Tanya, sit around him and admire his playing skills. The other wife, Amber, is getting loaded, not even paying attention to them. Frankie offers to give him a massage, but Eugene declines, knowing well what a massage would lead to and not wanting to get in trouble with Negan. Tanya, eventually bored out of her skull, tells him that she would be just fine with having intelligent conversation. Eugene doubts their intellectual capacity and arrives at a perfect compromise. He's going to show them a neat science experiment involving hydrogen peroxide. Don't try this at home, kids. Dwight arrives back at the house he used to share for his wife. Inside, he finds the place completely ransacked and a letter left by Sherry. In the letter, she begins by reminding him of their agreement that if they were to get separated, she would wait for him at their home and he would show up with beer and pretzels. She also writes about Dwight's faulty memory and tells him that actually could be a blessing instead of a curse. She even confesses her reasons for letting Daryl go. Her explanation includes how he reminded her of how Dwight used to be when Negan captured him, and she couldn't bear to see him like that anymore. After Dwight finishes the letter, he simply leaves out a 6-pack of beer and bag of pretzels. That evening, Frankie and Tanya show up at Eugene's door as he plays his video games. They inform him that Amber wishes to take her own life, and they ask for Eugene's help. She wants to take something and die peacefully in her sleep. Eugene initially refuses the offer, but after more prompting from the girls, he reluctantly agrees to help. He tells them he'll mix up a lethal concoction for Amber. Then, in an act of aggressiveness that we haven't seen him before, Eugene cuts ahead in front of the supply line and forcibly takes anything he needs for his mixture. He mixes it together in his room. In the next scene, Laura leads Eugene to a special gathering with the other Sabers. However, this means only one thing. Someone among them is going to get murdered. That someone, Dr. Carson. Dwight framed him for Cheryl and Daryl's escape, and Negan is about to burn him with the hot iron for it. The doctor sobs uncontrollably and begs Negan not to burn him. After he apologizes, Negan drops the iron and tells him that's all he needed to say. Then, in a move no one was probably ready for, he swiftly pushes Dr. Carson over to the furnace and tosses him in. Eugene is appalled. Frankie and Tanya show up at Eugene's room after the horrific scene and ask him about the pills. He tells them that he did, but they can't have them. After witnessing the terrifying fate of Dr. Carson, Eugene doesn't want to risk the same thing happening to him. They calm a coward and leave the room. Later that night, Eugene reaches into a jar of pickles and pulls one out. He eats it with a face completely absent of emotion when he receives another knock on the door. Only this time it's not the ghost, it's Negan. He comes to ask Eugene again who he is, but before he can even get the words out of his mouth, Eugene desperately replies that he is Negan, utterly, completely stone-cold Negan. This episode ends with Eugene eating a pickle and watching the Sabers applying the molten scrap metal on their walker guards. Dwight joins him and Eugene, introduces himself for the first time. He tells him his name and proclaims his devotion to Negan. And I would give this episode 5 stars, 2 thumbs up, whatever. It was really, really great. I really liked the whole entire Eugene storyline. I loved seeing Eugene play video games. I loved hearing the Easy Street song come back and Eugene kind of bopping to it. I mean, it's good that we see a different side of Eugene. I wonder where they're going to go with this. But anyway, I give this episode 5 stars, 2 thumbs up, way up. Comment down below in the comment section. Tell me, Scott Casey Gale, what you thought about this episode. Subscribe to my best close friends, BBB77, Godzilla Hawk, Global Smith Entertainment. Subscribe to Control Kid 14, JH Films, Aces Brothers. Subscribe to my Wrestling channel, National Wrestling Shooters, NWS Revolution, NWS Network, NWS Gaming Channel, and subscribe to Vince Russo. Follow me on Twitter at Will for anyone. Mr. Classy, the vlog impossible. Peace.